For over 50 years, Burlington's legacy has been great deals on coats for all weather conditions. So before you're caught unprepared for the winter weather, head to Burlington for name brands, quality items, and surprising fits for every family member. Stock up on coats, sweaters, and accessories before the cold hits, so you can finally stop avoiding the elements and start living comfortably. Warm up at your nearest Burlington location less than 1 mile away. Burlington. Deals, brands, wow.
Hey, it's Austin James. If you're like me, trying to live your best life while living with diabetes, you can relate to worrying if you're doing a good job managing your diabetes. I use the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor to get real-time glucose readings and see the impact of every meal and activity to make better decisions. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor can help me live life with diabetes on my own terms, and it gives me more time for the things I love, like being a dad and a musician. Now this is progress. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
It's another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily, and I'm Dr. Neil Malik. Hey there, happy Friday, and welcome to another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily, where I answer your health questions related to fitness, diet and nutrition, and more. You send in the questions, and I answer them for you. Oh, and if you do send in a question, and you're in the US, we'll mail you a copy of our hardcover workbook. Now, if you're outside of the US, we'll email you a PDF version. So what's the easiest way to send in a question? Just email it to health@oldpodcast.com. All right, and with that, let's finally get to today's question as we optimize your life. Today's question came via email. Sydney writes, "Hi OHD, I want to know about the best way to deal with sleep deprivation. Right now I have a newborn, and as the primary caretaker, I've not gotten a full night's rest in weeks. Is there any wisdom for what's the most optimal way to rest when sleeping for 12 hours straight, 7 days in a row, isn't an option? For example, is there any advantage to taking turns doing the night shift with my partner to get a full night's rest every other night, or to instead break up the night shift every night with my partner to get a consistent 5 hours of sleep every night? I know sleep is key for working out and recovery. So in this sleepless season, is it even worth working out?" Thank you so much for taking the time to send in your questions, Sydney, and congratulations on the newest addition to your family. I've been told I wasn't the easiest baby. I would refuse to fall asleep until I was rocked to sleep, or my dad would have to drive me around in his car until I finally did fall asleep. Then, when I did go to sleep, I would wake back up within an hour or so crying. Now, how my parents were able to function is still a mystery to this day. I hope for you and your partner's sake, Sydney, that your newborn isn't like me as a baby. I tried looking up studies to see if there were some solutions to this issue. What are new parents to do about the sleep deprivation they experience? The types of studies that kept popping up were those that reported on new parents' lack of sleep and how common it is, experiences with postpartum depression, and increased stress levels. One study even found that parents' sleep quality doesn't go back to pre-pregnancy levels until the child is 6 years old. Luckily, that same study found that within 6 or 7 weeks after the child's birth, parents usually start to see improvements in their sleep patterns. But again, it may not go back to pre-pregnancy days until the child's entering kindergarten. Now, you're right, Sydney. Trying to get the recommended 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep each night is simply not possible. And that would be an unrealistic expectation at this point. So, what are some practical tips that new parents can use to get better sleep in the short term, like, right now? Again, I really couldn't find a lot of studies on this topic, so I had to rely on what health professionals recommend anecdotally. So, here are their suggestions. First, prioritize sleep, meaning when the baby's asleep, and you have the option to either use that time to do household chores or sleep, choose sleep. Those naps throughout the day, even if they're short, are very important. That brings us to the next potential obligation, entertaining. Lots of friends and family are going to want to see the baby. It will feel wonderful for you, your partner, and the baby to experience all of this love and support. But it won't feel like love and support if you're so exhausted that you can't even work up a smile to greet them. So, It's okay to say no for now and reschedule their visits at a time when you and your partner are feeling a bit more rested. But something you can do when friends and family call to schedule a visit is to bring on the next tip. Ask them for help. They don't need to babysit, but instead, maybe they could help with some of those chores that are not getting done because you needed the rest. And Sydney, you asked whether taking turns with your partner to handle the night shift to give each other a break and get a full night's rest is a good option. According to health professionals, yes, do that. Also, as you suggested, the other option would be, instead of alternating entire nights, you and your partner could take shifts during the night. For example, one of you could take the 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. shift and the other the 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. shift. If you do decide to alternate nights or night shifts, this next suggestion is super important. Sleep in separate rooms. The parent that's off duty should sleep away from the parent with the baby to prevent sleep interruptions. And lastly, we want to be sure we're still using other sleep hygiene techniques, like keeping the room we sleep in dark and cool. Now, what about squeezing in that workout? Getting in a workout doesn't need to be the priority, but if you have the energy or the drive to get in some activity, then absolutely go for it. A meta-analysis found that those that were active postpartum were less likely to experience postpartum depression, and staying active can help with post-pregnancy weight loss. It may be best, though, to start with some light activity. Walking, even gentle stretching or deep breathing exercises may be the best place to start. It's probably not the best time to think about getting in a high-intensity interval training workout. So, if you were able to squeeze in some sleep and you feel a little bit energetic, absolutely some light activity could be helpful. While we can't control every aspect of our future health, we can be proactive about it. That's why I'm excited about my experience with 23andMe Plus Total Health. This isn't just another health service. It's a comprehensive longevity platform that gives you insights you typically wouldn't get from traditional healthcare. I recently joined, and what excites me most is how it combines advanced genetic screening with regular blood testing throughout the year. What sets this apart is having clinicians with specialized genetics training who help create a personalized preventive health plan. I'm particularly fascinated by their biological age feature, which tells you how old you really are based on your internal biomarkers. And the best part? Unlike your calendar age, this number could actually decrease with lifestyle changes. So advocate for your health today. Go to 23andme.com/OHD for your limited time offer. That's 23andme.com/OHD.
For over 50 years, Burlington's legacy has been great deals on coats for all weather conditions. So before you're caught unprepared for the winter weather, head to Burlington for name brands, quality items, and surprising fits for every family member. Stock up on coats, sweaters, and accessories before the cold hits, so you can finally stop avoiding the elements and start living comfortably. Warm up at your nearest Burlington location less than 1 mile away. Burlington. Deals, brands, wow.
I wish you and your family all the best, Sydney, and again, congratulations on the newest addition to your family. And of course, thank you for taking the time to send in your question. Now, if you want to send in a question to be answered right here on the show and get a copy of our workbook, you can email one to health@oldpodcast.com. Or if you want to hear your own voice on the podcast, just come by oldpodcast.com/ask. Right on that page, you can record straight from your computer's microphone. It's really easy. You can even play back your message and do retakes before sending it in. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way and call in your question. The number is 1-61-I-LOVE-OHD. That's 1-614-568-3643. Thank you so much for doing that. Answering your questions is my favorite part of the show. But that'll do it for another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily. Thank you so much for listening every day and all the way through. And I hope you have a great start to your weekend. And I'll see you back here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.